Hey everybody, welcome to I'm Devoted. Today I'm here with Jerome Humes. He's the creator of Boxed Out Visuals. Jerome, can you just kind of introduce yourself and talk about what you guys do at Boxed Out Visuals?
Yeah, so Boxed Out Visuals is a videography company which I've been running for the last 2 years with a few different people, and it's something which boxed out means thinking outside of the box. So that's something that I aspire to do, and it initially started with spoken words, which we can go into later, but
okay.
Yeah, that's the initial remit of the company.
And I forgot to tell you guys, I'm actually in London right now, so we're in Southeast London, so for anybody looking to get any videography work done in London, definitely contact my man Jerome. How has Boxed Out Visuals been going for you? Like, what type of work do you like to do with Boxed Out Visuals?
Okay, so I'm more like, I prefer doing the sort of creative work.
Okay.
I've done stuff like weddings, birthday parties, just anything that needs to be filmed, charity events. My passion is football as well. That's another passion for myself.
Awesome.
I've been playing football for years, since I was probably born with a football in my hand, honestly.
Wow. So do you record games or?
Yeah,
oh, wow.
I've recorded some charity football games. It's on my YouTube channel. I've recorded just even teams that I've played for. Sometimes I haven't been playing and I've just gone and recorded the games because I get enjoyment out of it.
That's awesome.
But the only frustrating thing is, I love football so much that because I'm recording it, I'm like, can someone else record? You see what I mean? So
that's funny. You say you have a YouTube channel. What's the name of that YouTube channel?
So it's the same name as my Instagram, which is @BoxedOutVisuals. So just type in Boxed Out Visuals as one word, or you can type it as two, but normally one word would be easier. Boxed Out Visuals. And you'll see all my videos on there.
Now, we both have kind of talked about spoken word, and we want to work together more so with that as well. But can you talk about your passion and your history with doing spoken word?
Right, so yeah, spoken words for me derived from, you know, I've just always been so creative. In school, my favourite subject was English. Okay. That was my favourite subject. I loved Shakespeare. Yeah. I just loved doing creative writing.
Even you don't hear that often.
Yeah,
that's dope. That's dope.
So I can't give you any quotes about Shakespeare, but yeah, I just loved doing so much creative things, and I was always on that side of, you know, more the creative side rather than, you know,
going with the flow.
Yeah, do you see what I mean?
That's
so
good, man.
That's what kind of started me off, just having a passion for English. And then when I left university, I just used to love reading. I used to love reading through so many different theories at uni. Bearing in mind, I hated reading before that. Yeah. So I did have a passion for English, but reading wasn't my thing. Now I read books every single day, and then it gave me a sort of creative input to start to make spoken words. My first spoken word was based on my dissertation at university, which was based on the N-word. And there's so many politics, and it's such a taboo word. So if you want to watch that, it's called... Can I say
Go ahead, man.
So it's called Nigger versus Nigger. So N-I-G-G-E-R versus N-I-G-G-A.
It's so funny hearing you say that as like somebody from London, because the accent is totally different.
The reason why I did that, obviously, as I said, my dissertation was based on linguistics in university. Then I broke it down into thinking, okay, what words do we use which are kind of controversial, especially to cultures? So I decided to, after doing the dissertation, I decided to kind of develop a spoken word which will give people a different insight of why people use this word, and, you know, why young people seem to use this word. What's in the media that's influencing us to use the word?
Alright, so Jerome, now with Boxed Out Visuals, do you guys have anything like coming up at the end of this year or going into next year? What type of work are you working on?
So I would say there's quite a few spoken words that are coming up. I filmed a music video a few weeks ago, so I can't wait for that to come out, because it's something which is going to be so different. Anything that I've done before is literally completely different to this.
Oh man.
So I'm using new editing softwares. There's going to be some nice little edits and animations.
And that'll be on your YouTube channel?
That will be on my YouTube. No, so that won't be on my YouTube channel. But I will be putting up links. The artist is called Felina Viagard. She's a French British-based artist. And she's trying to expand her sort of fan base over here in London.
That's awesome. Well, now she got some fans in the States.
Yes, in the States as well. So yeah, so those sort of things. And a documentary, hopefully by the earliest of next year, let's say January. So I put pressure on myself now. A documentary which is going to really blow people's minds.
Now, since we're on the channel, I Am Devoted, can you talk to me just about like your passion and your devotion to box out visuals? Because I know sometimes it can be hard. Like, it's hard work having a 9 to 5 and then going outside of your 9 to 5 to create another, you know what I'm saying, your main business that's yours. Just talk to me just about why you do what you do and overcoming some of the hardships.
Right, so Boxed Out Visuals it's more of a company which I've made not just for myself but for other people, for creatives like yourself as well. You know, you do spoken words, so it's more of a thing where it's not about making money, if I'm being honest with you. Of course, money is something which we all need, but my main purpose has never been money for Boxed Out Visuals. It's more about releasing people's purposes, releasing my own purpose. So I've been wanting to film spoken words for years. I've been watching them. There's a guy called Spoken Reasons. I don't know if you've heard of him.
I gotta check him out.
He's really good. There's quite a few other people, and I thought to myself, so I'm very creative, but I want to do something similar. But I never had no one who is devoted to record myself. So I thought, okay, let me buy a camera and start to record myself. Do you see what I mean? Well, I already had a camera, but I thought, why don't I use my own camera and record myself doing spoken words? So my last spoken word, not one person filmed it. I filmed it myself. And you would never know. Many people said, who filmed it? I said, myself. There's some shots.
That's awesome.
Like you would never know. Like, for example, I was on the train and I literally had the camera like this, and it looked like someone else was recording me looking outside.
That's creativity right there.
But you would never know. So, I, without going off topic, I would say my sort of thing for Boxed Out Visuals is to get more young people involved. I definitely want to help to release more young people's talents, because as we know, especially living in London, it's not a nice time at the moment with young people. They're not getting a good rep. And I also work in a school, and there's so many young kids which need direction. And I feel like with Boxed Out Visuals, I can help to release a sort of potential and a direction for people as well. So that's the sort of purpose for me, young people.
I feel like a lot of the young kids today need support and mentors our age too, because we're not the age of their parents, so it's kind of like they can look up to us instead of looking up to some of these athletes or rappers. It's some people out here actually doing positive work like yourself. And so I think that sometimes they just need visuals, like, you know what I'm saying? Because that's how kids get their influences off of social media and visuals. So without the visuals of us doing positive things, they would never know about it. You know what I'm saying? So they only go off of what they see. So I think it's great what you're doing. Even you're doing it as your 9 to 5, but then on the other side, you're doing it with your real business too. What type of advice would you give somebody looking to get into cinematography or spoken word? Like, how would you tell that person to get started?
I would say know your craft, because for me, I know it's not always good to point out negatives, but for myself, I more jumped into the field rather than knowing my craft. I bought cameras without knowing what I'm buying. I bought equipment without knowing what I'm going to do with them. So for me, I would say research and be knowledgeable. So research and be knowledgeable. Anything that you do, make sure that you rehearse before you do it. If you're shooting a music video, watch probably 50 music videos in a week without trying to copy them. Put your own imprint on stuff. Make it original.
That's good.
Yeah, put your own imprint. Do you see what I mean? Because, for example, as I said, I'm a filmmaker. I look up to Spike Lee heavily, but I will not copy everything that he's done. I will take bits from him, bits from Tarantino, bits from Noel Clarke, who's over here. He's a big sort of, not necessarily a filmmaker, but he's a director. He's got things like Adulthood, Kidulthood, which I think are really good for you to watch.
I'll check them out.
Because it defines London culture. It defines myself growing up in London.
Good.
So yeah, I just think, you know, be knowledgeable and take different things from different people, but also stay authentic. Authenticity is the most, you know, sort of effective tool you can have to define yourself and for you to stand out from the crowd.
Yep. Man, I think it's awesome, bro. One of the last things I want to talk about is eventually me and Jerome are going to do a spoken word piece together. And we want to just talk about, one, the young people out here, and two, just about like the economy and social justice and everything like that. Well, one thing I'm kind of curious about is, what do you, like, as you know probably a little bit about America and American culture and like black people in America, but I want to learn more about black people over here in England. Can you talk a little bit about the culture out here? Is it unity, or what type of culture do you guys have?
Okay, so despite the bad press that, you know, a lot of these young, especially black kids do get, there is a heavy, you know, sort of unity between the two. When I say the two, what I'm going on to say is Africans and Caribbeans, which is the main two.
Yeah.
So
and you guys actually know your history, like even though you're living in England, you know either your parents or your grandparents, they're from the Caribbeans or they're from Africa. We in America, we don't really have that history like that because of slavery, obviously. But go ahead with what you were saying now.
No, that's all good. Yeah, so interestingly, you saying that as well. So recently, one of my cousins, he managed to go into the files and figure out exactly where my family background is. And it's just crazy to know 5 generations back, you know, what my family was doing, where they was in Jamaica. It was very interesting. But yeah, I think in England, you know, there's many Jamaicans, there's many people from Barbados, you know, all the Caribbean sort of cultures. But the thing is, I don't feel like any of them lose that sort of identity. We identify ourselves not just as British people, but as, like, let's say, Afro-Caribbeans living in Britain, or, you know, Caribbean British people. Like, that's how we try to define ourselves. We always don't associate ourselves to not just being a part of Britain. I was born here, but I don't just associate myself with London. I'm just as much Jamaican as I am British. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, that's truly who you are.
That's truly who I am. Like, for example, the World Cup, I supported England to the T. But if Jamaica was in it as well, I'll be supporting them both. You see what I mean? So I wouldn't know who to support.
Yeah, my girl, her mother's from Mexico, so she wasn't even supporting the Eagles. She was like, go Mexico.
Yeah, of course. That's how it goes. So yeah, man, I just feel like in England, there's such a nice unity with the two, Caribbeans and Africans. And for me, music is so key to it as well. Music and food. Afrobeats is such a massive thing right now in London.
It's huge over here.
Oh, is it huge over in America?
More so over here than in America, but we like it, but we just not as knowledgeable as you guys are with it. Yeah,
of course. So I've grown up in an era as well where, you know, there were many sort of people who are afraid to come out and be African. Like, a lot of them would say, oh, I'm Jamaican, I'm Caribbean, but they didn't want to embrace the sort of African culture.
Because even the Jamaicans and Caribbeans come from Africa initially.
Slavery times, of course. My slavery history, obviously, not mine, but my family's slavery history obviously goes up until Jamaica, and obviously from then it's all clouded. We don't know what happened. I could come from Nigeria, Ghana, Ethiopia, I have no clue.
Exactly.
But these sort of things, it's just really interesting to know that we all come from the same place. You know what I mean?
I can't wait till we do this spoken word together, because I want to touch on some of these topics when we do it.
100%.
Alright, now, how should people get in contact with you as far as if they want you to shoot a video for them, or they want to just hire Boxed Out Visuals for some work? What's the best way to get in contact?
Right, so at the moment, the best way to contact me would be through Instagram. Okay. I use Instagram actively every day.
Tell them that Instagram one more time.
Yeah, so my Instagram is @BoxedOutVisuals. You'll probably see it on the bottom. Yeah, just add me. As I said, don't be boxed in, be boxed out. That's our slogan. We embrace authenticity. So yeah.